News, life, and beyond. New podcast, it's time you tap into it. Real life interviews, focus on your businesses. No propaganda or gimmicks, just two dawns. Steve J and Adam A. News, life, and beyond. News, life, and beyond. News, life, and beyond. News, life, and beyond.
And now time for the show. Thanks for coming and being a part of News Life and Beyond, where we bring you real life, real people, and real discussions.
Now? Yes, we had our own place. We had on
Baltic, right?
Over on, well, we were in Baltic when we first
when you first came, yep.
Then we wound up moving to Norwich. We got a place over East Main Street.
On the hill?
Yeah. No, not up the hill, but like right so you know where the pizza place used to be down there? You know where the sports bar is there across the street?
Yeah.
So it was like catty corner from the sports bar.
Oh, okay. I lived down the street.
Big yellow house. It was a big yellow house with green doors.
Yo, you're lying.
Nah, that's where I live.
I swear to God, my family lived there, Quentin's family.
Really?
Yeah.
On East Main?
Yeah.
That's where we lived.
On the east side, right across the street. In that little house.
Yeah, that's where we lived.
Lisa and Tammy and them.
That's where Jordan and Johnny and Jackie were raised in Norwich.
No, see, their living room, you could look through these doors into the living room. From the living room to the kitchen, it was like a fast food to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It had like a little barway, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That
the same apartment.
That was my apartment. The kids didn't have we didn't have a bedroom door, me and Janine.
Oh, that's crazy, that yellow building, you guys lived there and they lived there.
Did they live upstairs or downstairs?
Right when you go in the front steps.
Yeah.
The house right there.
It was on the downstairs floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ours. That's where we lived.
Yeah, that's where they live.
So we must have moved in there right after they did, or they moved in after I did.
Yeah, one or the other. Yeah. And Quentin was a baby then.
Yeah, Jordan was Jordan was like 4 years old.
Yeah, Quentin's so it must have been before you guys then.
I was gonna say it must have been.
He's older than Jordan, right? Not by much though.
I don't think by much. They're the same age though, aren't they? How old is Q?
I don't know. What are you asking me for? He's not my kid.
Bother you. Yeah, we got no proof for that. You guys only look exactly alike, but you got no proof.
Yeah. That motherfucker.
Yeah. Hey, Jordan ain't my kid either.
No, I'm looking at you right now, and all I keep thinking in my head through this whole interview is like, damn, Jordan look like you.
Especially if I give you the side view. Look at the nose.
Yeah, maybe she should have been a guy.
She'd have been a gorgeous guy.
Yeah, well, I'm saying she might be. She kind of got boy tendencies.
Yeah, I know. She gets from her.
So you guys are living in Norwich, hanging out, and now you're getting more high than you have.
So now
right?
I've been introduced to pretty much everything, and at that time I started selling LSD.
Whew.
So I had a homeboy out of Voluntown. I won't throw no names out because I don't get down like.
Yeah.
He was getting me good deals on acid. So I would get it through him and I would resell it because I'd get the good deal and then I'd sell it to other people for more money.
Yeah.
Make a little extra cash and help support my own addictions.
Okay.
And at that time, I was addicted to heroin at that time. I'd already started sniffing dope and, shooting dope and, Connecticut's dope was different than Texas's dope.
Yeah.
The dope up here was all like that stuff coming out of New York and Boston, and it was that like China white stuff. I mean, back then, and now everything's got the fentanyl shit in it.
Yeah, there
back then
everything's fake.
Yeah, everything's different now. But back then I was getting some really good shit. But I was getting shit shipped up from Texas in scented candles, and they drill a hole out of the scented candle and pack it full of the tar, the black tar from Texas. Now I was having that sent out. So then I had got a few people hooked up onto that in Foxwoods. Bro, I come out one night, I had a line of like fucking 15 people standing out there waiting on me to get out of work. I got off the fucking employee bus and they're looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy got going on?
Yeah, like, damn, where you been, bro? You should got out of work early.
Been out here all day for you, bro. What the fuck? But yeah, it was pretty bad, man. Like I was making good money though. You know what I mean? Like my money was popping off right, especially with the price that I was getting the dope for down in Texas, and then getting rid of it here. It was great because they didn't have no tar here, bro.
Yeah.
Not any that that I can relate to. You know what I mean? Like I never seen anybody with any.
Right.
In fact, when I introduced it to people, bro, I had it on lock. They didn't even want none of the other shit that you guys were getting up here. You know what I mean? Because that tar was brutal. Yeah, you had to. Yeah.
No, yo, listen, for Norwich being so small, there's so much money in Norwich, yo.
Oh, dude. Yeah, there's a shit ton of money in Norwich.
It's crazy the amount of money and drugs that run through Norwich.
Yeah. New London too, bro.
Yeah, no.
Both of them.
All of Connecticut. Just, you know what I'm saying? People from Connecticut. But
well, dude, we're close to New York. We're right next to the city, bro. We're within an hour and a half from the city.
You could piss on it.
Either way you go. I mean, if you're in Jewett City, you're within an hour and a half either way going to Boston or New York. So you got to hook up either way. You know, and it's sad because it dilutes the population of us because, you know, I mean, you and I can say this out of experience because you and I have seen a lot of good people go on that shit. You know what I mean? I mean, good people that, you know, they just had a problem. You know what I mean? And that's the end of their life over it.
Yeah, I've lost so many people in the past I'll say 5 years, man. It's like they went like it was a war. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Before I moved over here, I lived on Mechanic. When I lived on Mechanic, I think we lost like 60.
What was that girl's name that you lived with you guys? The one that died, the one that always had a big crush on me anytime I came around, she was always saying something. She worked with Tina. Was it Tina? She worked
Tina? At Tina.
She worked at a pizza place with Jordan.
Yeah, I love Tina, man. I miss her every day, bro.
Even Jordan told me that she had passed, bro. It was like
I miss her, boy. That was my homie, yo.
I met her son after that, and I felt so bad for that kid, man. I just wanted to take him fishing and hang out with him or something, you know.
Yeah, her son was mad at me because people fed him a bunch of stories that weren't true. You know what I'm saying? And
about you?
Yeah. Before he heard the other side of the story, you know what I'm saying? He was angry with me. So when he finally got to hear it from more than one person, he was like, damn, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Because I took care of him. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have had Christmases, birthdays, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Huh?
You took care of his mom.
Yeah, I loved his mom. His mom was my homie, yo. She really was my homie.
Guys, I lived with you guys for a while.
Yeah, her and Mike. Yo. Mike ended up marrying Rita, which Rita
wait, is Rita that's your Amber's mom?
Yeah, Amber's mom. So Rita and Mike ended up getting married. After but they robbed me. They robbed me, set me up while I was sleeping.
They robbed you?
I woke up with a gun in my face, bro.
Get the fuck out of here, really?
Yeah, Rita did 5 years for that shit.
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the dude that she had robbed me, yo, my dogs were so mean that they took my dogs for walks and shit. So my dogs weren't
Yeah.
in the house. Because neither
Well,
one
I
had
mean,
like guns or nothing like that. Yeah, I woke up with a gun
that's
in my
the part
face and I thought it was my
if you're
son.
gonna rob somebody,
Yo, yeah.
which son?
Adrian,
Which?
Adam.
Oh man.
Right? So I slapped the gun out of my face, bro. Dead ass just smacked. I said, stop fucking playing around, yo. Go back to bed. Yeah. He
Oh,
robbed me. Rob, the dumbest thief I've ever met in my life, bro.
wasn't Rita related to you?
Rita?
Yeah.
She was like my sister, bro. She was my sister, brother, married to my brother.
That's what I'm saying. I thought she was related to you somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I took care of her kids too.
Bro, you see how it is though? Some of the people that are supposed to be closest to you are the ones that fuck you over the worst.
Yeah, that's why I don't have many friends, bro.
Mm.
Many friends for that. So, yo, all right. So you're down here getting high, selling drugs, doing all this.
Yeah.
Did,
Yep.
did you ever get arrested for selling drugs?
Yeah.
What was your first
Connecticut.
arrest down here in Connecticut?
Yeah, it was there in Connecticut. If you're ready to open that Pandora's box, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
let's open it.
All right. So I told you I was selling LSD at the time. Um, we had so when we lived in that house on East Main
Now,
Street,
Janine know what you were doing?
um, Janine, I think I kept Janine out of the loop of everything.
Playing blind, or
Um,
did she play blind eye?
well,
Or
I think Janine knew, like Janine. I mean, all women have that intuition.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But I think Janine carried the mentality of I'm not gonna ask, so he can't tell. And I like that about her because when shit hit the fan, bro, she was able to not say nothing.
right.
You know, they
Yeah,
couldn't talk her into saying nothing because she didn't know nothing.
right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, Janine was smart enough she knew what was going on, but she wasn't gonna say nothing. And she didn't want to know, so she didn't have to say nothing. You know what I mean? So I respect Janine for that. I think Janine also knew that I was trying to make money for our family too. You know what I'm saying? So she, at that time I was making money. I was doing good. I was bringing good money home. So she really didn't have a whole lot to say. As
Yeah,
long as I was bringing money home and doing right, paying bills and giving her money, we were good.
yeah, and you had the job and the drug
Yeah,
money, right? So you was,
yeah, yeah, and I was able to keep my addiction going too.
yeah, yeah,
So I was, I don't think Janine knew that I was on dope. I think she suspected it, but I don't think she knew it. I don't think Janine knew a whole lot about dope then. She knew I smoked weed, she knew I drank, and she knew I partied. You know what I mean? But I don't think she asked questions because Janine also knew that I would tell her the truth. And
right.
I don't think she wanted to know. You know what I mean?
So you're an
Uh,
honest guy, yo, more or less. What you're trying to say, and you just
yeah,
flat
I'm pretty
out, come on, say it.
straight up. I am pretty straight up. So I had a neighbor that was living upstairs from me and Janine when we lived on East Main Street that used to watch the kids. They used to babysit Johnny and Jordan and Jackie for me. Mainly Jackie and Jordan because Johnny, would be at school or Jordan would be at school, so it was mainly just Jackie or Jordan. I can't
How,
remember
how much
how
older
far
is
back.
Johnny then?
Maybe a year and a half older than Jordan. I
Oh,
think
that's
she's a
it.
year and a half older than Jordan.
Oh, no shit. I thought they were a
Yeah,
couple of years, at least 3.
yeah. I think they're a year and a half. Um, I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I mean, I
Hey,
think they're a year and a
wait, hold
half.
on.
I don't.
That's your
They might
kid,
be.
bro.
I know. Got 7 of them for the love of God. You ought to know. You got quite a few kids. You know how hard it is to keep up with birthdays alone.
And I don't even know when my birthday is.
You know what I mean? I gotta ask my kids when my birthday is.
Right. All right. So
Um.
she's not.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead. You know where we're at.
so my neighbor hit me up one day, asked me if I could get some, if I would sell her some acid. So I went and got the shit, got home, and I gave it to my neighbor. My neighbor was my age. I think, maybe the same exact age as me, maybe a year younger than me, but we were in our 20s. So I sold it to her. To say that I didn't know that she was going to give it to her 15-year-old little cousin would be a lie, because I knew. I mean, I knew she was going to give it to the kid.
Wow.
So, and that's the manner I was wrong. But I mean, dude, for me at that time, I was about making money, and dude, all my uncles got high with me when I was a kid, when I was 14. So I didn't look at it like it was a big deal that she was giving her 15-year-old cousin a couple of hits of acid.
Right.
So a few days go by, and actually I should say about a week goes by. I don't hear nothing from nobody. And then the police show up at my door and tell me I'm under an investigation for sales of a.
Go ahead, bro.
So the police tell me that I'm under an investigation for sale of narcotic and sexual assault in the first degree.
Wow. The food's outside. Wow.
So I'm like, what? And Janine's right there. You know what I mean? When they come to talk to me. So the guy's talking to me about it, and he's telling me that, this girl is saying that I drug her into the woods and brutally raped her.
Yeah.
And that I fed her LSD before I did it.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? So apparently what had happened was she had a bad trip, and her cousin took her to the hospital up in Norwich, to Bacchus Hospital.
Yeah.
And automatically, when there's a minor involved with drugs,
Yep.
the police get called. They go through the whole DCF, police, all that. So her and her cousin came up with this story that didn't include her cousin giving her shit at all. It was me that gave her acid, and I drug her into the woods and raped her and all this, and they had to bring her up here to be tested.
I didn't shut the door. Wow.
So here I am, 23 at the time when that happened. And she was I think 17-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid at the time. And, I'm 23. So I'm like, all right, they give me the investigating officer's name, number. I call the guy. No answer, no nothing. Don't get any reply from them for, I don't know, like maybe 2 months. Then I'm at home one night, 2:00 in the morning, we get, Norwich police show up.
Now,
and
do you think after all this time that everything just went away, or?
Yeah, I was thinking, they must have found out it's all bullshit,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't think nothing of it. So they came and they arrested me on it.
And did they kick the door in?
No, they knocked on the door.
Okay.
They I'm trying to think. There was one time that our doors got kicked in, and I think that that was because they had a bond on my landlord on his, and they were looking for his wife, and she didn't live there. You know what I mean? But I mean, and then there was another time that they came and they knocked on the door, and that was when they came to arrest me. But Janine's standing there going, dude, like, I know this whole story and it's a crock of shit. Like, I had her, defending me. I'm like, dude, this is bullshit. No, actually, I'm sorry. That's wrong. So Janine was at work when they came to arrest me. Because I remember calling her and saying, hey, they're here to arrest me on that bullshit. So Janine had to come home. They waited there. They had me in handcuffs and all that right in front of the kids. I had the kids, and then Janine came home with the kids, and then they took me to jail. I spent the whole weekend in Norwich, and then I think my mom and dad came up from Texas, and they put their house up as collateral and paid I had a $75,000 bond. So they bonded me out. I got a lawyer. The lawyer that I got was a bum, dude. I can't even remember his freaking name. He actually wound up losing his license after my case. There was so much, dude, there was so much conduct by him and the prosecutor that, I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, I should have never even went to jail in the first place.
Right.
But they were offering me 2 years in the beginning for sexual assault and sales of a hallucinogenic to a minor. The sexual assault would have included me to register as a sex offender for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I would do 2 years in prison. And I was like, dude, I'm not taking any time for sexual assault. I said, if you want to, and this is what I said to them exactly. If you want to charge me for sales of hallucinogenic, I'll take it because I'm guilty of that. I mean, straight up, I'm guilty of selling drugs. I was wrong. I did it. And that's where I fucked up. Because if I didn't say that, when I won all my case, I would have gotten off of everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I went to prison. I went to jail. I went through trial. So let me get into the trial because now we're going to trial. The trial lasted about 2 weeks.
That was short.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was a short trial. By the time it went to trial, they had brought up 11 counts to bring up against me. So I had a stacked on counts. That's what they do. If you want to take it to trial, the prosecutor is going to add more charges on you.
Yeah.
So that they can get something, you know what I mean? So I was acquitted on 6 of the 11 counts brought against me, and sexual assault in the first degree was one of them. So they had found me guilty of sexual assault in the second degree, and I think the sales of a narcotic, and then risk of injury was one of them. So
the maximum sentence of 10 years.
What, the risk of injury?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my sentence at trial was 22 years. I had a 22 years sentence.
Bro, so you went from 2 years to 20 years taking it to trial.
To 22 years, yeah, from 2 to 22 years
at
trial.
Bro.
And look, and that's after I beat half of the charges in trial.
Holy shit, bro.
And I beat the ones that I was wanting to beat in the first place. You know what I mean?
Man,
I wanted to take the stand, but my lawyer wouldn't let me. So during all that time, this girl had claimed that she had my DNA on her underwear.
So back then, why didn't they do like a rape kit and all that? Because it was too late?
No, they did. That's
what they did.
They did. And they said that they had my DNA on this girl.
After 2 weeks, bro, that means she never took a bath?
No, they're saying that they had it in her underwear.
So she kept her, wait, all right, before you got arrested, so they
had my DNA in her underwear.
All right, so before you got arrested, because it took 2 months for you to get arrested for this.
Yeah.
So like maybe a day or two after she went to the hospital and stuff, they did it then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so they had that's them building
a case. Okay.
Right. So during that time, my lawyer calls and says, you know, we got to go down. Yeah. So my lawyer calls and says, you got to go down and we got to do a DNA, you know, and I'm like, yeah, let's go do it, you know, because he was telling me that they said that they had my DNA. So we go and we do the DNA. Never hear nothing back on it. So during trial, the DNA was never brought up. Now, at the end of trial, I mean, towards the end, you know, I'm waiting to see something from my lawyer, dude. And I got to tell you, the whole time you got me, my dad, my sister, all of us like pushing up on my lawyer, like, what the fuck, dude? You need to do something. Like,
Right.
I'm watching my ship sink. You know what I mean? And this guy's terrible. He's not doing nothing to defend me. So on the last day of trial, he pushes a paper across to me. And on the paper I saw, it was the DNA results. And it showed that my DNA was absolutely negative, not on there at all. So now I'm like, okay, cool. This dude's got a plan. He's fixing to fuck these motherfuckers up in the end. So I shut up. I don't say nothing. I sit there and I wait. Then they start resting cases, dude. Now I'm waiting. This dude still doesn't say nothing about the DNA. So they go into deliberation. I think they deliberated for a day. And the next day they came out and they found me guilty of second-degree sexual assault, risk of injury to a minor, and sales of hallucinogenic. Or no, not sales of hallucinogenic, but I think it was a hallucinogenic and sale of narcotic. So I had both sales on me. What killed me was, the judge starts asking, at sentencing, who wants to speak. So they give me a chance to speak. And I guess, when that time comes, you're supposed to be ready to, say, I'm sorry or repent for your crime. Give me just a second, bro. Back. So you're supposed to be like repenting or whatever. But dude, I'm not about to confess to something I didn't do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even if you found me guilty and I know I didn't do it, I'm like, fuck that. So I'm talking to the judge and I'm like, listen, Your Honor, I don't know why this went the way that it did. But this whole time, I'd been waiting on my attorney to produce the DNA evidence because I gave DNA before this trial even started. And the DNA came back negative. So I want to know why this wasn't brought up in trial. Dude, do you know that me making that statement that day is what actually saved my life? Because had I never made that statement, then it would have never been brought up. You know what I mean? During the appeal process.
Yeah.
And then after that, my dad got up and he spoke. And my dad, dude, I'd never seen my dad cry, but one time my whole life, before this moment. And that was when his dad died. And we're in the courtroom and my dad, he gave his life over to God, bro, changed his whole life around. And the whole day he was outside witnessing to people, like trying to lead people to Christ outside the courtroom out in Norwich, in downtown Norwich, bro. Do you remember the Dunkin' Donuts that was down there in the corner?
Yeah, of course.
So me and my family were standing out there.
Best donuts ever, bro, because they made them fresh.
Fresh, right there, bro.
Fresh.
Used to bring the trucks there to load up donuts.
Yeah, best donuts ever.
Bro, and I had a hookup there too. I had a homegirl there that would give me coffee, donuts free all the time, dude. Anyways, dude, we're standing out there that morning and we're all standing there praying together as a family. My whole family's out there in a big circle praying because we could all see what was going on there at the courtroom.
So let me stop it right here real quick. So what does Janine think about all this right now that's going on?
Janine's got my back through all of it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She knows damn good and well I didn't do what they were accusing me of.
Okay.
Now listen, let me say this, Adam, just to be perfectly honest. In my active addiction in my life, was I capable of doing shit like that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bro, I would have slept with anybody, in my active addiction. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I would have done anything, but this particular moment in my life, I knew I wasn't guilty. I knew I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was willing to throw my whole life on the line to say, there's no way. I'm not going to let you ruin my life and my name for something I didn't do,
Right. So y'all out there praying.
Yeah, so Janine had my back. Yeah. So we go back, and my dad goes up and takes a stand. Or not takes a stand, but stands in front of the judge and speaks. And dude, I watched my dad. This was the last time I saw my dad alive. He was on his hands and knees in the courtroom, begging the judge to take him instead.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like, Your Honor, this is all my fault. I raised my son. I didn't raise him the right way. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. So for the first time in my life, I saw what it meant to have the love of a father. You know what I mean? To know your son had literally destroyed his life, and you're willing to give yours for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? At this moment, it was some deep shit. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that was my last vision of my dad alive, seeing him begging for my life. You know what I mean? So after that, the judge gave me 22 years.
So you did get sentenced to 22 years.
Yeah, I got sentenced to 22 years that day. It was the most time ever given out of a Norwich courtroom for that particular type of crime. It was noted in the paper, in the bulletin, and all that. The most time ever given to a person with a drug charge and a sex charge. There was pedophiles, bro, that got less time than I did.
Yeah,
People that literally raped children.
They always do, bro.
Yeah, it was terrible.
They always do.
Yeah. So I went in and I fought, bro. I had the mentality that, I'm not going to lay down and just take this. This is my life on the line.
Let me ask you a question first before we get to jail.
Go ahead.
When the judge reads you that sentence, what the fuck is the first thing that goes off in your head? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, what's going on in Leo's mind? Like, holy fuck, I just got 22 years. I'm about to see any of my kids.
Yeah. So basically, that's the good question, and you answered that right from the beginning. So the first thought in my mind was I lost my children and I lost my wife. My life was over that day. The day that I got sentenced to 22 years, it crushed me as a man. It made me feel empty. I had lost everything. My life was over. The life that I knew, the wife that I had of 13 years, my children, I wasn't going to see them grow. And I was an active father. I know I wasn't the best father, but every one of my kids will tell you I was an active father in their life. I was always there playing with the kids, singing songs, dancing with the kids, teaching my kids to play spoons. There was I don't know if you know this or not. I'm going to jump back for a second. But my father and I won the
Lose life and beyond. Lose life and beyond. Lose life and beyond. Lose life and beyond. Won't you tell a friend? Tell a friend that tell a friend.
Calls in there. She's like, yo. I'm like, yo, what's going on? I said, what happened? I don't even remember what the fuck happened.
Tell a friend that tell that other friend. Spread it around till everybody tell their other friend's friend. From which episode is on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, word of mouth.
You are now tuning in to the finest podcast on the airwaves. So check it out.
It took the agile out, but it wasn't like the high.
That's the whole video.
Yeah, there's a certain high that I need to get to, that I need to stay at. Right. Like when I used to wake up in the morning, no lie, I'll do 5 perks right off the rip. I'll sniff 2, pound a 20-ounce Red Bull, smoke a cigarette, sniff another one, pop one. By the time I get up, I'd only do dope. After when I first did my first bag, I didn't really like it, but the taste was good, so I didn't really mess with it like that. I ended up going to jail and coming home. I didn't mess with it. I was still doing the perks. Then I was doing the fake perks. That's what got me with the fentanyl. So I'm getting these perks. I'm like, damn, these shit are powerful. Like, knocking me for a loop. I want them, so.
Tell that other friend. Spread it around till everybody tell their other friend's friend.
Literally be homeless. Man. So. That sucks. And you wonder why a lot of people start selling drugs and, that's why people make good money. You know, there's always going to be a crackhead. Always do what you can.
That's why I go by Yahoo, because I'm trying to keep his namesake alive. You know what I mean? I want to make something out of it, and then when people ask, like, "Yo, like, where's that name come from?" It's like, "Well, I got it from my dad."
Yeah.
Tagged it on a wall one day, and it was just like, "Oh, okay, that's your name now." Like,
okay.
It was when I first heard that story too. I was like, "What the fuck?" There's like no special meaning. He just tagged it one day out of like.
On the airwaves. So check it out.
Well, you was thinking future.
Oh man, I was thinking we was top charting.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then we lost our drummer too. And so then I had because he was also at the same age. We're 20, they're 40, they're double our age, and we were killing shit, dude. And we had such a big list of shows that we packed up 2, 3, 4, 5 whole years. Honey, I can't come home right now. She's like, you need to get here right now. Yo, it was bananas. We was at 50. That's another story.
Yeah.
That I did with my rap homies, because I was rapping before I was doing the band stuff.
Adam A, Steve J, let's go. News, life, and beyond. They wanna know I'm the king, how far I come. They wanna know how I get bread, stack these funds. It's a hard not life with an injury. Yeah, my heart on ice, that's an issue. News, life, and beyond. Yeah, we been new. I don't trust these weird dudes.
Oh man, how'd you like working with Pooh Bear?
It's good. I mean, I haven't really. I'm waiting to see what's going on with this mixtape.
Yeah,
He's supposed to. Yeah, dude.
You know, for some reason, you know what I mean? There's some people just get lucky. I don't know what it is.
Consistency is key.
It's not.
You know, like.
Don't ever think it'll be that moment. You know what I mean? Look at the Hawk Tour girl.
Hey Boogie's my favorite, but I like real stories, real things I can hear.
News, life, and beyond. Won't you tell a friend? Tell a friend.
Nobody could tell me they wasn't bumping that shit.
We all want to do the same thing.
We all wish we could. Yeah, shut your ass up. Said I hate it. That is one of the all-time greatest albums of hip hop. Despise All Eyes on Me, Love Pop, B.I.P. But Get Rich or Die Trying, Life After Death. I point to him because he's a Brooklyn nigga.
I've never been a Tupac fan though. Maybe it's because I'm East Coast.
You might be, because I was a hard body
I thought
fan.
it was okay, but I was never.
I'd rather listen to.
I was never banging it in my car.
I'd rather listen to.
Listen, whatever happened, you know.
There's a couple songs I thought was cool. But
no, that whole album from beginning to end.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad.
No. I feel you. Yeah. And it's like I said, me.
Yo, we got them shirts too. You guys want to buy a shirt? Hit up me and Stevie J. Stevie or the real Stevie J. And we can get you a shirt out, a News, Life, and Beyond shirt. Steve, put them up in the post. Is that right if I talk?
Yeah. I fucking love him. No, go ahead. I love this nigga.
That's Ciroc got y'all hugging. Aww. Wow. We didn't even drink Ciroc yet.
But with the taste in you, taste the flavor. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell that other friend. Spread it around till everybody tell their other friend's friend. News, life, and beyond. Tell a friend to tell a friend which episode is on. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, word of mouth. Get the freaking message out. Steve J, Adam A, taking it to the tip top. News, life, and beyond. Representing hip-hop, reggaeton, dancehall, Afro beats, real life discussions on our podcast. Let's bring it back. News, life, and beyond. Won't you tell a friend? Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell that other friend. Spread it around till everybody tell their other friend's friend.
News, life, and beyond.